Now, over the course of last few weeks, we have seen a spree of threat calls. In the latest in this, we get you boycott calls against Hindus issued by clerics of the Ajmer Dargah that have shocked people across the nation. 2 audio tapes accessed by Times Now that show khadims or clerics of Ajmer Dargah mouthing blatant threats towards Hindu businesses in the vicinity of Dargah. They seek boycott of Hindu shopkeepers, saying that these people must be taught a lesson. Their only crime? That they downed their shutters for a few hours on the 25th of June to express support for Nupur Sharma. After the show of solidarity, it was after this show of solidarity that boycott calls were issued on the 26th of June by 2 Dargah khadims, Faisal Ahmed and Khadim Saeed.
ये आप लोग देखें इनको, ये गरीब नवाज के नाम पे ही हमसे कमाते हैं और नुपुर शर्मा जैसी बज़ात औरत का साथ दे रहे हैं, जबकि इनको अपना साथ देना चाहिए। तो ये अपना जो दिखा रहे हैं, तो इनका एक ही तरीक़ा है कि जो भी हम लोग हैं, नला बाज़ार, दरगाह बाज़ार, जो भी मार्केट है, यहाँ से कुछ भी ख़रीदो फरोख्त ना करें और अपने ज़ायरीन को, अपने रिश्तेदारों को भी ये ताकीद करें, तब जाके इनके समझ में आएगी बात।
आज अजमेर शरीफ में हिंदुओं ने, दरगाह बाज़ार और नला बाज़ार के हिंदुओं ने नुपुर शर्मा के समर्थन में जुलूस निकाला और 12 बजे तक दुकानें बंद रखी हैं सुबह से। तो आप तमाम हजरात से गुजारिश है कि अपने KGN ग्रुप के ज़रिए से इस बात को तमाम ज़ायरीन और तमाम गरीब नवाज के आशिकों से पहुँचा दो कि इन लोगों को तरसा दो, ना तो दरगाह बाज़ार से कोई शॉपिंग करे, ना कोई नला बाज़ार से शॉपिंग करे। ये ख्वाजा साहब की बारगाह में आने वाले ज़ायरीनों के ज़रिए ही कमाते हैं और आज इनकी इतनी हिम्मत हो गई कि हम लोगों के सामने ही दुकानें बंद कर रहे हैं और एहतजाज जता रहे हैं और नुपुर शर्मा का समर्थन कर रहे हैं। तो जितने भी आशिक ख्वाजा हैं, इस बात को सस्ते में मत लो, इस बात को आगे से आगे हर जगह बोलो, हर ग्रुप में डालो, ताकि लोग इनसे 1 रुपए का भी धंधा ना करें और ये तरस जाएं।
You heard it. Threats to bring Hindu businesses down to their knees. Clerics enraged that someone had even dared to raise their voices, even if peacefully, exhorting Muslims to not buy even a rupee worth of goods from Hindu shopkeepers till the time they are reduced to beggars. Threats that have now translated into losses worth crores of rupees for the local businessmen. Here the shopkeepers of the area around the Ajmer Dargah. Remember, every year around Eid, they see huge crowds, but this year businesses have dipped to an all-time low. People are now blasting those like the clerics who issued boycott calls for spoiling the atmosphere.
होटल रॉयल अजमेर हमारा होटल है, दरगाह बाजार में होटल है। वैसे ईद के 12 महीने से बहुत अच्छा धंधा चल रहा था। जब से ये हुआ है उसके बाद तो बिल्कुल जीरो पे आ गया हम। जो भी बुकिंग हमारी थी, ऑलरेडी बुकिंग खड़ी हुई थी, सब कैंसिल हो चुकी है। पूरा 100% ही नुकसान हो रहा है। जो भी नुकसान हो रहा था जब तो जीरो पे आ गया डायरेक्ट ही। हमारी कितनी होटल है तो बिल्कुल खाली पड़ी है, एक भी रूम लगा हुआ नहीं है।
ईद की बात करें तो किस तरह का व्यापार है इस बार ईद को लेकर पहले के मुकाबले?
व्यापार तो रह गया 5 पैसा, कोई ज़ायरीन है नहीं, बाजार में कोई मेहमान है नहीं, सब होटलें खाली है, सब दुकानदार खाली बैठे हैं, उनका कोई व्यापार नहीं है। जो इन्होंने गलत बयानबाजी करी है उसकी वजह से हर एक आदमी डरता है अजमेर आने से, बिल्कुल वो बचना चाहता है।
इस बार की बात करें तो कितना नुकसान होगा ईद को लेकर?
मतलब ईद को लेकर कम से कम जो 50 करोड़ का नुकसान हुआ।
आने वाले ज़ायरीन को डर बैठा हुआ है, वो ज़ायरीन आ नहीं पा रहे हैं। कोई भी या हिंदू मुसलमान या सब तरह के लोग आते हैं, वो यहाँ डर के मारे आ नहीं रहे हैं। उससे क्या कि मार्केट में मंदी है।
पहले आपकी जो ग्राहकी थी कितने % हुआ करती थी?
पहले हमारी ग्राहकी 60-70% हुआ करती थी, लेकिन अब 10% भी नहीं रही है।
Those shopkeepers who would have been looking to make some profits after 2 years of a pandemic-driven crisis financially are left disappointed. But the threat mongers who are responsible for their plight are still free. Now they are being called out even by those who belong to their fraternity from within the Ajmer Dargah himself. As shopkeepers of Ajmer are feeling the economic pressure, those who are responsible for their plight are still at large. Whether it is Sarwar Chishti, who circulated boycott calls, or Gohar Chishti, who gave provocative slogans against Nupur Sharma for her comments on Prophet Muhammad, both remain elusive for the cops. The anger is still palpable, with several asking why are these people still not in the clutches of law. In the middle of all this, the RSS has now urged Muslim community to oppose incidents like the Udaipur killing vigorously and vehemently. However, this advice to join hands against hate has not gone down well with the opposition.
क्योंकि जो नारा है सरतन से जुदा, ये हिंदुस्तानियों का नारा है। हिंदुस्तान के मुसलमान ने कभी ये नारा नहीं दिया। ये नारा कहां से आया, कौन लाया? पाकिस्तान से। बेशक पाकिस्तान से आया। ये नारे की तो इस्लाम में कहीं जगह नहीं है। हमें क्या इख्तियार किसी का तन से जुदा करें? हिंदुस्तान तो है जो हिंदुस्तान के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन से चलेगा, हिंदुस्तान के कानून से चलेगा। हिंदुस्तान में शरिया कानून थोड़ी ना है। जो लोग लगा रहे हैं, मैं समझता हूँ वो देशद्रोही हैं।
Raise these kind of slogan which has no place in Islam. This is anti-Islam, anti-society, anti-humanity slogans which we completely denounce. So these slogans have raised that need to be investigated from where they have come, cropped up in India. Who are those people who are bringing them forth into the public domain?
ऐसा है कि उदयपुर में जो नृशंस हत्या हुई वो अत्यंत निंदनीय है। इसकी जितनी भर्त्सना हो वो कम है। किसी को अगर कोई बात पसंद नहीं आई तो उस पर अपनी प्रतिक्रिया देने के लिए लोकतांत्रिक मार्ग है। और मुझे लगता है कि समाज में सभी को, विश्व जो सभ्य समाज है वो भी ऐसे जो घटनाएं होती है उसकी निंदा ही करता है। इसलिए मैं निश्चित रूप से कहूँगा कि हिंदू समाज शांति से, संवैधानिक तरीके से देश भर में अपनी प्रतिक्रिया दे रहा है, आक्रोश है उसमें। मैं मुस्लिम समाज से भी कहूँगा कि निश्चित रूप से ऐसी घटनाएं जब होती है तो इसका निषेध होना चाहिए। कुछ बुद्धिजीवियों ने इसका निषेध किया है, लेकिन मैं ज़रूर ये कहूँगा कि मुस्लिम समाज के भी प्रमुख लोगों को सामने आकर समाज को इसका बढ़ चढ़कर विरोध करना चाहिए।
किसी भी तरीके का अगर धार्मिक उन्माद फैलता है, वो हिंसा की तरफ जाता है, धर्म के लोगों के बीच में उन्माद फैलता है, आपस में घृणा फैलती है, तो वो किसी भी धर्म से संबंधित हो, उसकी निंदा करनी चाहिए, उस समाज के लोगों के साथ संवाद करना चाहिए और कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि इस तरीके से, जिसको अंग्रेजी में रेडिकलाइजेशन कहा जाता है, ये नहीं हो। लेकिन सबको भी इस बात को अपने गिरेबान में झांक कर देखना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो स्वयं खुद या उससे संबंधित बहुत से संस्थाएं और लोग भी इस तरीके की चीजों को भड़काने का पिछले कई वर्षों से कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो ये मानना पड़ेगा कि जो आज हालत आई है इसमें उन लोगों का भी योगदान है इस स्थिति बिगड़ने में, और एक धर्म के या एक तरह के लोगों के खिलाफ एक उन्माद और घृणा फैलाई है, उसमें इनका भी हाथ बनता है।
Joining us to discuss the issues, the fallout and the impact of these threat calls and boycotts on this broadcast are Ratan Sharda, who is an author, Kailash Adhikari, MD Governance Now, Majid Hyderi, a political analyst, and also Sunny Dhiman, who is also a political analyst. Majid Hyderi, coming to you first. There are three issues on the table right now. First, the threats and the boycott calls being given. Second, the inaction of the government against those who have been issuing these calls. And third, the RSS coming out and saying that everybody must condemn such incidents. We'll take it one by one. But my first question to you is, what do you say about the clerics calling out for a boycott of shopkeepers because they had decided to take part in a protest for 2 hours on one day?
Madam, Eid Mubarak to all of you, in fact to the entire world. See, when A.R. Rahman came up with a popular number, Khwaja Mere Khwaja, Dil Mein Samaja, I don't think there could be any Indian who has not admired that number. Because that number is about that aura of spirituality which every Indian believes in about Khwaja Gharib Nawaz or his shrine in Ajmer. Now, when you look at this kind of a relevance and reverence from all sides towards one particular shrine, you need to look at this, what you were talking about, that thread call. Don't look at the words of these people. Look at the emotions of these people. They are trying to tell every community to introspect. This is not about a threat call. It's about introspection, and that Ajmer Sharif has been about Hindu-Muslim unity.
Mr. Majid Hyderi, when Gauhar Chishti is standing outside Ajmer Dargah and saying Sar Tan Se Juda, what kind of call is that?
No, I was not talking about that. I was saying about the boycott call. The boycott call is about introspection. That Hindus and Muslims have lived together in harmony in Ajmer, so they don't need to support the phrase.
Who is being asked to introspect? I'm sorry. Who is being asked to introspect when the cleric says कि एक रुपए का भी business नहीं देना, इनकी भिखारी जैसी हालत कर देना?
Madam, this is a saying. This is not something being done practically. This is saying, we say Mahavra कहते हैं ना, Mahavra, it's a Mahavra.
अच्छा.
So they don't mean it. Don't look at their words. Look at their emotions.
सर बहुत दिन तक तो हम भी यही सोच रहे थे कि सर तन से जुदा भी महावरा ही है, फिर कन्हैया लाल की beheading हो गई. आपको नहीं लगता these warning signs need to be taken for what they are and acted on?
Now, madam, we are coming to some different point. See, the problem is that our counterparts in the nation, the RSS, has never stood by the Indian Muslims. When we were being witch hunted, we were being pushed to the wall over the issue of halal ban, hijab ban, azan ban, whatever, even Gaur Raksha. Okay. Our RSS, which we had faith in that they would come to our support, they have been silent. Now they are asking Muslims to come out and condemn. We are already condemned. Mohan Bhagwatji, we have been condemning what has happened in the country.
Like I said, there are three issues on the table. We'll come to the RSS call as well. But Ratan Sharda, coming to you on what Mr. Majid Hyderi is saying, that Ajmer is a fountainhead of faith. You don't have to take the words literally. You need to ignore. You need to understand the sentiment behind it, which is that of desperation.
I never imagined that even the speeches of hate mongers can be full of mysticism. And he says the boycott is an appeal for reconciliation. You don't boycott to reconcile. You say, let us open the shop, let us work together, let us call the tourists who have gone away, and let us work for restoring the dignity of Ajmer Sharif. Unfortunately, because of this incident, now people are slowly coming to realize that actually Sufis were one of the people who actually were most violent during Pakistan, partition of Pakistan, Suharwardi, and Bengal direct action. Those are all Sufi filsilas. Now this is coming out, which was not coming out. Unfortunately, this is how we have tried to demean Muslims by these Maulanas as Maulvis. That is why RSS said, please get rid of, we come out of this, the hold of this hate mongers. These people are trying to scare you into a corner, and join the mainstream by condemning this call of violence. Hindus have behaved very well. Hindus have not done anything untoward, despite the most vituperative, most poisonous jabs at them. Does it start now? Did any of these leaders condemn when in Shaheen Bagh Hindus were abused with posters and all? Did they say that CA was not against Indian Muslims? They in fact instigated riots. They instigated riots in the name of hijab, which was basically a uniform issue. And you are talking of ye band, wo band. Mohan Bhagwatji has been abused more by Hindus than by Muslims for trying to bring in some sense of unity with Muslims and trying to ask them to join the mainstream. And for that he has been abused. To show that he has not criticized lynching and all, you don't read him because you don't want to read him. Go read him. And then you come here and start abusing those people. And when did these people actually start criticizing Sant Se Juda? In your own debates, many of the panelists have clearly said we will not condemn Sant Se Juda. It is okay in your own Times Now debates. Now they got scared because of the Udaipur issue, because before that 3 beheadings had taken place in the name of Islam. None of them ever criticized it. None of them ever criticized any of these poisons. All these years they have been keeping quiet and smiling on the sly, showing the Hindus a place.
Yes.
Try to understand, these people who claim to be ruling us are the people who converted under pressure. We sympathize with them. And Hindus are those who refuse to convert. So they are trying to scare people who got never scared in 1,000 years.
Mr. Sunny Dhiman, bringing you in on
Come out of this all poison.
What Mr. Ratan Sharda is saying, don't you think that such people need to be called out? And we just played out a bite of another cleric from the Dargah itself who is saying that Islam does not stand for calls like this. Why then there are some people like Mr. Majid Hyderi who would still not unequivocally condemn such statements?
Did they condemn Charlie Hebdo? There was no India there. There was no RSS there. Nothing. It was out of India.
Yeah.
Gunshots.
So first of all, what I believe that RSS and Sangh Parivar cannot hide their crippled and hypocritic soul. I just remember the words of Honorable Prime Minister Modi when he said hypocrisy ki bhi seema hoti hai. Like, can I speak? I don't want any disturbance from behind. So, can I speak?
Yeah. Yes, so, please go on.
Hypocrisy ki bhi koi seema hoti hai. When RSS says, when RSS is preaching for peace, it's like Hitler is preaching for peace. You know, 70 kilometers from your studio in Manesar, 6 days ago, Vishwa Hindu Parishad and Bajrang Dal people have given a call for boycott of Muslim people. And it's very recent, and there are so many calls for boycotting Muslim people even during COVID, if you remember. You won't remember because you are into this that mass amnesia which we are going through right now. But let me remind you words of Pandit Nehru when he said that majoritarian communalism is far more dangerous than the minority communalism, because majoritarian communalism comes in a robe of nationalism. And that's why right now it's happening. What has happened in Sri Lanka will happen in India, because you are dividing country in the name of religion day by day. And this guy, like, who has given this call of boycott of Hindu shopkeeper, I'm really saddened. Like, now this infection has already entered into the Muslim, but these are not Muslim, these are radical Muslim, these are PFI people who are cousin brother of RSS. They are not follower of Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. They are not. They are PFI. They are radical Islam people, and they work hand in hand with RSS. And RSS feeds on these people.
So
that is why the other major cleric
come out
recently
and
said
that I support the PFI and is currently being probed for his links to the NIA designated radical organization, has links with the RSS, you are saying?
No. I'm saying RSS is radicalizing Indian society, and it needs, ताली बजाने के लिए दो हाथ की जरूरत होती है. तो एक हाथ को जबरदस्ती पकड़ के लाया जा रहा है, which is minority communalism.
RSS
so
is the
we
one
have to
who
remember
is
that
radicalizing the society, polarizing, dividing, instigating, and now they are coming out to say that Muslims must go speak out against violence.
Can you give me 10 seconds?
I'd like to state here, and I'd like to, with all due respect to both
Mr. Sharma, I'll come to you after, let Mr. Kailash Adhikari speak.
Sure, I waited for my turn, and I'll expect that my co-panelists also give me some time to speak. So firstly, I'd like to, enlighten all my two co-panelists. Like, comparing India's situation to Sri Lanka is absolutely wrong. What Sri Lanka is going through is an economic crisis, and it is completely different than what the issue currently we are discussing.
Majoritarian crisis. It was majoritarian communalism. Sri Lanka has gone through. It was majoritarian communalism. That's why the economic crisis has emerged.
Please do not speak over each other. Your point will not get across to the viewer, and I might lose the content of what you are saying and get into trouble for what you've said. So please, let's take it one by one. Mr. Kailash Adhikari, to finish your point, everybody will get their turn.
I did not disturb. So firstly, two situations different, and secondly, the attacks on RSS are completely baseless. There are numerous incidences, and we know, where RSS as an organization has helped the society. And by society, I mean each and every one of us. There is no discrimination done on the basis when there are humanitarian efforts extended by that particular society. Now, here in this situation, giving an open statement such as of boycotting shops of a particular community being the majority community is absolutely wrong. I do not support that. I condemn that, because it is a loss to the entire city of Ajmer. Please try to understand, and it is no muhavra. Please, we all know, we have knowledge of literature. What are muhavras? This is a blatant statement. And here, as per the statement given by the spokesperson of the RSS, the gentleman has very peacefully appealed to the section of the Muslim community, to the minority community, that whatever happened in Udaipur, please, it's a request to them to condemn that, because that is not something two people coming into a shop posing as customers and then beheading a gentleman? Do you feel that in a civilized society such as India, that should be acceptable? We are a democracy, but we are driven by our constitution.
Hindu Parishad, which is part of Sangh Parivar.
We'll discuss the Manesar story at some other time, sir, because the objection there being raised is that there are some shopkeepers who are misusing Hindu names and Hindu gods and goddesses posters, but that is not the point in discussion here right now. Mr. Majid Hyderi, what Mr. Adhikari is saying is that जब कोई साफ-साफ कहता है सरतन से जुदा, वो कोई मुहावरा नहीं है. जब वो कहता है कि हिंदुओं को तरसा दो पाई के लिए, उनका बिजनेस मत होने दो, वो कोई मुहावरा नहीं है. बट द बिगर पॉइंट हियर इज कि आप किसका नुकसान कर रहे हैं. आप अगर 60 to 70% फुटफॉल कम होता है तो वहां जितने दुकानदार हैं, everybody loses their livelihood, and it's not just Hindus who are sitting in the shops over there. It's the people from the Muslim community who are also facing losses, which is why today when somebody says that everybody must condemn, there shouldn't. I don't see the reason to object to that.
I have been to the holy city of Ajmer many times, and I must mention. I just need 30 seconds.
Of boycott, it actually a great loss to Hindustan, not Hindus or Muslims.
Exactly.
And it began with Muslim. Now Muslims are doing it, and it is a reaction.
So what you admit is wrong on the part of one side. What is the purpose of repeating it?
To have a Bhagwa flag.
Well, madam, firstly, it's not about the loss of livelihood alone.
It is a reaction, and it should not happen.
Let Mr. Majid Hyderi speak. I've just got 1 minute left, sir. Mr. Majid Hyderi.
What RSS wants.
Yes, Mr. Majid Hyderi, quick answer.
Madam, it's not about the loss of livelihood alone. It's the loss of India's image before the international community, how things are unfolding in the country.
Yes.
And the one who has been termed as French has not been arrested as yet over because she happens to be the reason and the cause for all the crisis.
We'll talk about Nupur Sharma not being arrested, but Mr. Ratan Shada, will we also talk about Salman Chishti, Sarwar Chishti, Gauhar Chishti still being free and out of police's reach?
Madam, I am coming to
the RSS guy is here. Can you ask him to condemn the Manesar boycotting? Can you ask him?
Sir,
Can you ask him to condemn the Manesar boycotting? The RSS guy is in front of you. Can you ask him? He is not doing it. So these people promote this hatred, and this is loss of India.
So the point of discussion here is not what you are referring to. I do not know who you...
He will not condemn it. I'm really sorry. I'm talking about boycott. I'm not talking about Muslim boycott.
Sir, I can't wear my debate according to your agenda. I am talking about an issue. You're not answering my question. Mr. Majid Hyderi thinks Sartan se juda is a muhavra. We've already paid a lot of price for taking these statements lightly, and unfortunately I've now run out of time completely. Sorry, Mr. Ratan Shada, I wanted to indulge you for an answer on that, but we've run out of time. We take a very quick break. On that note, one hopes that these threat mongers are brought to book, irrespective of which community they belong to, but at the same time one also hopes that everybody condemns such acts of violence. Like the RSS says, does not matter which community they belong. What matters is what they are saying, the damage that they are doing to the society.